Hello, we are geeks assembled. There's Susan over there. I'm Lee over here, and we're doing jazz hands. Are we? This week we're talking about a 1956 movie, and all about survival, really surviving. Um, it's set just after the war, post-war. Um, in is it Malaya?
No, it's the middle of the war. It's the middle of the war. They're in Malaysia and
It,
Japan is invaded.
yeah, it's post Second World War.
No, it's in the middle of the Second World War.
Yeah, but it starts post Second World War, and she has flashbacks.
Oh, all right. Yeah, okay.
Let me finish what I'm going to say. it's post
Okay.
it's post Second World War, and she's come into some money as the main character, by Virginia McKenna, um, and she wants to go and build a well to Malaya. Is it Malaya?
Mm-hmm.
So she goes back, builds a well where she sort of ended up at the end of the movie. Builds the well for all the people of the village, and then she starts to have flashbacks, the flashback of the story of then it's the Second World War.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So the lion's share of the movie is set in the Second World War
Oh,
because the book, okay, let me open this up. The book talks about these 800 women and children who were moved around the country of Malaysia.
yeah,
Um, you know, they were moved around to the tune of walking by the time the war ended,
yeah,
1,200 miles,
mm,
and about they had gone from 800 to about 25 people were all that survived.
yeah,
But
but
this isn't quite as intense as the book. I
yeah,
was
yeah.
just able to listen to the book on my library app, and oh my gosh, it's just horrifying what they
Yeah.
went through.
I mean, it does say at the beginning of the movie, it's the characters are fictitious, but it's based on true events. Um,
Correct. All
we
right.
said a town like Alice, is the movie, of course. I say the Japanese evade, and the men are all taken to prison camps, and the children and women are made to walk to. Well, Singapore isn't where they want to go, where the Japanese
Yeah.
are going to send them, but everywhere they go, the Japanese do not want them. They don't want any responsibility for them, so they keep sending them further and further across the country. Um, with one Japanese sergeant, guarding them all the way there.
Yeah.
And as we go along, it's harrowing what these women went through, what the kids went through. As you say, you've read the book. This is not even half of what the book, what's in the book. This
Right,
is
but the movie was told in smaller chunks because
yeah,
the whole story would have just been overwhelming.
yeah, yeah. This is just like
Past 1,000.
this is just the cream of on the top of the story, shall we say? Underneath is the
Right.
full story. Um, so yeah,
Exactly.
say it's starring Virginia McKenna in the lead and Peter Finch as the Australian mechanic.
Hmm.
Um, so I'll go over to Susan now. Go on, Susan. A town like Alice. I keep like to say a town called Alice. It's a town like Alice.
Yeah, that's what I was, fighting
There's a
that
dog.
nomenclature as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, the when you're talking about Gene Padgett and Joe Harmon's romance story. That's pretty much part of it. It's the Joe Harmon character was played by Peter Finch, like Lee said. But the important thing to remember is that he was trying to just get along and work something out.
Yeah.
He didn't have uh the kind of uh long long drawn out travel that throughout the country that the women did.
Mm.
And he was trying to kind of get along with the Japanese,
But
but
still, yeah, yeah,
not really succeeding because of the but you know, Virginia's character and Peter Finch's character both ended up at the end, coming together at an airport. So that was real. I mean, it was really amazing. And the other thing was the fact that she went all the way to Australia to, at the end of the story, to reconnect, and he had gone all the way to the UK. I thought that was just like something amazing. And then the she went to the town called Alice,
yeah,
and so part of it is that she was in Malaysia looking up some people who had been there, the tribe that took care of them for a long time. I mean,
yeah,
maybe like 6 months or a year or something that they had spent there, you know, teaching and getting and trying to refresh themselves in the painful experience that they were having. I mean, so many of the children that she basically adopted, their mother passed away, and um, so I mean, she really had like a lot of compassion, and then she found love also the um in this in this tale. And it's very British. This is a very British movie. There was no kissing. um they just ended it, after all of that shit that they went through. These two adults didn't just smother each other in kisses. They just hugged. They embraced for such a long time.
I bet you after that hug they had a cigarette. A lot of
I
smoking in this.
bet. Yeah, and I mean the characters like that were. I mean, there was one woman who was really, really trying to maintain her control over her own situation, and she was really, she didn't give an inch. And then there was another woman who was very sickly, had tons of issues, had all this medication,
Yeah,
and refused to share with those guys. And then there was also all of the Japanese that sort of pushed them away from wherever they were. And the one sergeant, or yeah, that was with them for the whole trip. That was,
Kenji
I
Takakiya.
mean, yeah, yeah, that was so cool though. I mean, he the story that they told about him, and I mean, it was really close to the book. And the book is fiction too, but it's also based in reality.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, like the book even tells the story of this sergeant, and you know that, but it was based on something that was true. So I don't know what happened exactly, but I mean, you know, it's so British. The other thing that is so British about this movie is that it just exists in that realm of keep calm and carry on. I mean, it's just that that very sort of
While
buggered
the shit's hitting the fan, keep calm and keep buggering on.
keep buggering on like Churchill. Oh my gosh, it was just amazing. I love that bit about it. It was so cool. I mean, even the the Australians just keep calm and keep buggering on. I mean, like it was so very British. I just loved it. It was very fun to watch this. It was my first time watching it, and I mean, I was surprised that the I was surprised at how much I was just like, this is quintessential. Like people giving away shoes in exchange for money. I
Was it
mean,
like it was for
it
milk, wasn't
was
it? Tin of milk and for the
for
baby.
the tins of, yeah, for the milk. Oh my gosh, that was incredible. Anyway, I really liked watching this, and it was there were there were moments that were incredible. So Lee, what about you?
Well, say this would be my second time watching this. I remember it from years ago, and I thought, you know, we'll give it another viewing, and my thoughts on it hasn't changed. It's it's a harrowing story. Um, as we've said, it's all these characters are fictitious, but it's based on true events. So these events did happen, but these characters never existed. So the names have been changed to protect the innocent, so to speak. Um,
Dragnet.
uh, but so, as you say, so British. But it's 1956 movie, so they've all talked like that, you know. Stiff upper lip, what, pip pip. Um, but it's the story of the women and the children, and their constant walking and walking from place to place, just being turned away. Their desperation, um,
Hmm.
of exhaustion, of not eating, not washing, um, because she said you get diseases, of drinking filthy water, which was
Mm.
mentioned in the movie. I wouldn't drink that water if I were you. Um, and also as well, it didn't stay away from because the mother of the children died. She was the first one to die in the movie, so
Hmm.
she sort of handed over her three children to what's it, Jean, um, and
Yeah, that was.
it didn't stay away from killing the deaths of the other two children.
I
That
know. Oh my gosh.
out of the three children, only the baby survived.
Uh huh.
The young son and the young daughter. The young son being bitten by a snake.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
and the young daughter was exhaustion and mostly starvation. Um,
Mm.
but also,
Because the daughter was giving up the food for the baby too.
yeah. Um, but
That's
also,
in the book.
and also as well, as you mentioned, the Japanese sergeant, he came across as one of the good guys. You
Oh,
know, I mean, he was his on his honor after the chicken thing. You know, you have to go with them now. you've dishonored Japan. You have to live with your dishonor. Leave your dishonor. You're with the women. Go with the women, and all of that. He gave him the water. He gave him his own water. He hardly spoke any English,
Uh-huh.
uh, but he was there from beginning to nearly the end.
Yeah, in
Uh,
his own
but he's passed away with exhaustion. Um,
his
but he
own death.
came across as a good one of the good guys, because not all, as we've said before, in war films like the Nazis, Japanese, Russians, or whatever, there's always good and there's always bad.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying Nazism is good, but I'm saying that's if you he's a Nazi, but there could be a good one who saves loads of children, who sends frees them and
Schindler, Oscar Schindler,
yeah,
and but someone who doesn't toe the party line. I mean, he didn't. I
yeah,
mean, he did in a way, but he didn't in so many other ways.
yeah.
He
And this
was
is
he was very he was very worried about the imperial experience of Japan, but he was not a a dyed in the wool soldier for the empire.
uh,
Anyway,
he
go on.
he was there. He was looking for looking after these people right until his last
Mhm.
breath. Um, I mean, you did get a nasty piece of work in what's his name? What's his the one who had the chickens? I can't remember his name now.
Captain Yanada,
was
played
it
by a Vietnamese guy.
was it Captain United? Well, anyway, he was the one who had the chickens, and Joe stole the chickens from
Yes,
the women. They found out
exactly.
he crucified Joe on the tree.
And
Uh,
they crucified him so that yeah, go on.
and of course, Jean thought she died
God, he
then.
died. Oh gosh.
But after she'd gone, they cut him down, and he was in hospital for so long, wasn't he? Um, but a great, it's just a great. You get to feel for the characters. Yeah,
Mm.
you mentioned the old, the older spinster with all the medication outlived them all, and the other posh one with the big hat who's carrying a
Uh-huh.
suitcase, and the kids are following her down the street waddling. You know, so there's a little bit of comedy there just to break up the intenseness of this movie. But yeah, it's a harrowing story, and to think this is true.
Yeah. Oh my
Think,
gosh.
just just keep walking till you drop down dead.
Right.
No, that was the mentality of it.
Well, they didn't. It wasn't expressly presented, but you're right.
Want any
That
responsibility
was
for
the yeah. That was exact presence
also as
of
well as it was
the
stated
army.
as it was stated. No, no, no. Women don't have to go in trucks. You walk.
Uh, yeah. So that, but the when Joe and the the women got the chickens and then brought them and cooked them. That captain who was like following them along, he and the reason that he's played by a Vietnamese guy is because they it, it only goes to show that they were really trying to show him as a different sort of person
Ah,
than
right.
the typical Japanese people. Like they're and by anyway the rage that the other captain had for having all these chickens slaughtered. there was only four of them because there was only 14 women in this story.
Yeah,
But they, I mean, they wring their neck, pull out all the feathers, put the feathers in a bag, and then they discover the bag full of feathers, and that's
yeah,
how they're like, no, see, you didn't buy these. See, these ones, these feathers came from the captain's chickens. You and they cornered Joe and yeah, basically tied him to a tree and and it looked like he was being crucified. It looked like he was going to be, end up dead, but uh, he was made of stronger stuff. Apparently, all Australians are made of stronger stuff. You know, it's
it's
just,
it, it's the outback. That's what does it.
yeah.
But also as well, some of the supporting cast as well. Miss Horsefall, who was sort of in charge. She was the
Yeah.
one. She was the one who was teaching the kids at the end of the film to sing English songs.
Uh
Um,
huh.
She was played by Jean Anderson, and many years later, in the early '80s, late '70s, she would sort of revisit this sort of theme because she appeared in Tenko.
Oh, with Louise Jameson.
Jameson, yeah, Jean Anderson, who played Miss Horsefall. So I thought that was a bit weird. She was in this movie of sort of, the Japanese sort of prisoner of war, but moving them on. And then Tenko came up and she was in that.
Thank you. That's
Yeah,
awesome. That that's
but
really cool.
uh, but yeah, it is a good movie. I mean, I know that the youngsters of today wouldn't even give this movie a second chance, even a first chance to watch this. But you can't beat classic movies like this.
Right.
Um, Not every movie has to be CGI, action adventure. For me, it has to have a good story, good acting, to tell this story, and it did this. I mean, Virginia McKenna, she became more famous for the Born Free Foundation after her acting.
Oh,
You know, she,
right.
yeah, she was in the movie. Then she set up the Born Free Foundation with her husband, um, and she's still with us. Is Virginia?
For animals.
Yeah, remember Born Free, the movie about the lions?
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
fantastic. Oh my gosh, that's great. And there
so
was like there were a lot of the other Australian guy. He wasn't even like on the main credits.
no,
Um, he was, but the that's also part of like the whole Australian thing. I mean, I'm just thinking, you know, maybe it's only for the black fellas, the the native Australians that they do the walkabout. But
oh, maybe
I'm
imagining.
trying to bring in the fact that he was interacting with the ladies who are actually on a walkabout of the whole fucking country. I mean, it was just like I understood what they were saying when they were like, it's 50 miles, and then it's 50 miles more, and then there's another 200 miles, and then
Yeah,
there's like 150 miles there. So by the end on the movie, they'd wander around about 500 miles, but on the in the book it's 1,200 miles, and there's 800 women and kids.
yeah.
I mean, it's just to me it blows my tiny little brain here. I mean,
I know.
I can't. I struggle to get 3,000 steps a day, and these women were walking 25 miles a day. I just ah,
But you can
they are
understand. But you can understand why so few made it to the end.
survived. Yeah,
Even
exactly.
even with death, there was also, I mean, an example in the movie was the one woman who took up the Japanese offer of going with
Of
him,
a
and we will look after you. We look after women and all like that. I mean, we never found
yeah,
out what happened to her.
right. And the what do they call? There was a special term for Japanese soldiers, women that was called like comfort women.
It's not.
Like they actually
It's not a porcupine, is it? A concubine.
yeah, right. But it's like their term was called comfort women.
Yeah. Which,
And this one was making no bones about, you know, offering that
yeah.
this soldier was, right?
Jean turned it down. Well, she just turned her back and walked away, and that other woman took the chance and went.
Yeah. Hope she survived. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there were a lot of but you're right, it was started in after the war. But the
Yeah.
end of the movie is so it gives you so much elation when they find out that Joe had survived. Like that was just like that was breathtaking, like that. And then so British, all they did was embrace.
Yeah.
I was just like, why don't they kiss? Kiss now! I shipped him so hard, you know.
Uh,
I just yeah.
it was also as well. This is another. I've said it before in another cast. This is a rank organisation movie. You know, the one where it hits the big symbol boom, at the beginning of the
Uh
movie.
huh. Uh
And the rank organisation was founded by J. Arthur Rank, who came from Hull.
huh. Gabriel Ball.
We've got a blue plaque on his house where he used to live.
Uh
We
huh.
said, yeah, for Rank lived here, blah blah blah. Yeah,
Uh
uh,
huh.
so we've got famous. Well, Boston and Hull were famous.
I know. I know. You guys, there's a lot of cool stuff.
Who needs Hollywood?
Yorkshire. Oh. Anyway, I just think it's really cool that the the story brought in like so many high powered women. That was the cool thing about this is that as an SJW sort of seeker, I just think that this story told the story of the women, the very British women, but the women who had to take care of themselves, who were guarded by one guy, one soldier, and they just KBO for
Kept on,
real.
kept on buggering on.
I know it's true. Oh my gosh! And the little kids, the kids acted their socks off. I mean, you just wanted to go here, come here, kid, I'll feed you, I love you. Oh, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
that what got me in the movie when the deaths of the few children in it. It
That was
didn't
so sad. Yeah.
it didn't shy away from that. Um,
No, it didn't.
some
Oh,
movies at that time in the 50s, they wouldn't have even gone there. But yeah, yeah. So anything else, Susan, before we final
oh,
sense?
Alice, the town like Alice was Alice Springs, which you hear about whenever you hear about like these Australian outback stories. Alice Springs
Yeah.
is sort of that gateway to the outback. was good. It was really good. Anyway, so
So, what's your final search?
so yeah, I'll give it. I'll give it 10 headless chickens plucked for sure out of 10. I just think that the it just it's so good. This movie is so good, and I am so surprised that I've never heard of it. But I guess it would behoove me greatly to find all the lists of rank organization movies
Yeah.
and start like watching them kind of, because I mean there's so I was so amazed anyway.
Yeah,
So
I always like it. I've always liked it when we've done these casts and when there's been other people with us, where they've turned
hmm
around and said, "What an amazing movie! I've never seen it before." Um, I always like it
hmm
when that happens, and I'm glad you liked it, Susan. Um,
really did.
yeah, and I think the generation today should really do a bit of digging and look these movies up, and they would learn a
Yeah,
few. They would learn a few things from these classics. Um, Me, a town like Alice, I would give this 10. It's in 10, 10 tins of milk out of 10.
uh,
Um, it's an amazing story, and to understand that it's a true story based on true events, it just makes it more unbelievable.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's a harrowing tale. But war is not fun. So that's our little review of A Town Like Alice. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Susan. Your first time watching it.
yeah. I really did, and I really liked the book that went along with it. It was like the book is arduous, and the movie is it's emotional. It's
Yeah,
really emotional. You do sort of shed tears when these women pass away, and oh my gosh.
yeah.
And when you think that Joe is dead, that's sad. That's super sad. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, that's our review of A Town Like Alice. Have you guys seen it? This is the 1956. They did remake it in the early 80s, but you got to go to the original. Um, if you've seen it,
Because it's so it the way it's shot in black and white is I mean it is like it does look like it's still like mid World War Two.
yeah, yeah, it does the trick. It convinces you. Um, yeah, if you've seen it, leave a message on the video. This video we put out all over social media, so you'll find us Geeks Assembled. You'll find all our videos there. If you'd like to join us, leave us a message, of course. 18 plus. So some things are 18 plus, what we do discuss. Um, Also, you need a working microphone and camera on the device you use, and you know, the bell notification button on YouTube. Remember to press that. No, it's not ringing, Susan. It don't ring on this device.
Oh,
It may be ringing in your ears, but it's not ringing at my end. So yes,
okie doke, bing bing.
ding 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 ding. So until next time, guys, please be safe, and also come on, look up these classic movies. You don't know what you're missing. So
And keep
oh,
buggering on.
bugger it on the British way. See you later.